and today we are talking about not making a resolution, not making a New Year's resolution. So when you're watching this video, it might just be the New Year time. You may be watching it another time. In my book, any day, right, can be a new year. We can start again, begin again at any time. And yet I was thinking about, when I was getting ready to make this video, kept thinking about myself as a 21-year-old, like my early 20s, right, where I was very into resolutions, and I would get all the magazines, and most of the time, again, they were actually about the actions I was taking, right? Like, how am I working out? How am I treating myself? How am I eating? What practices am I doing, right? But I was thinking about how, for me, resolutions just don't work as they're presented to me, or as I had experienced them when I was in my younger 20s. Because for me, a resolution is very all or nothing, right? There's something about a resolution too where there's this idea that we're gonna succeed at it or we fail, right? There's like no in between, right? We succeed or we fail. We do it for like all of it every day, everything we said we were gonna do, or nothing, right? We have that moment of like, well, just fell off the wagon, may as well stay off the wagon, right? So all or nothing and very extreme. I mean, the other thing I was laughing about, maybe I'm the only one, but I don't think so. But when I used to make resolutions, I really feel like there was a part of me that was like, I'm going to resolve to this. I'm going to start this new action, behavior, habit, and then I'm going to do it for the rest of my life, right? I'm going to do it forever. And that was in my mind, I feel like as a 20-something-year-old, the only way that I would have succeeded is if I did it forever, which is totally unrealistic, right? We change, we grow, we need different ways to care for ourselves. Things work for us, things don't. Like, we just change all the friggin' time, right? And how we need to treat ourselves and how we need to care for ourselves and love for ourselves and show up for ourselves changes all the time. So this video today is about not making a New Year's resolution, but about doing something instead. And I'll tell you what that thing is in a minute. But first, I want to say, if you want to do some grand gesture of the new year, right, or a proclamation, or energies coming through and inspirations coming through, then I would say go all in on an ask list for the year, a desire list, a wish list, an envisioning, a dreams, a vision board. Like, go all in, right, for what you're open to, what you want to feel more of, what you want to receive, what you want to cultivate. Like, all in, right? Whatever feels good to you. However, when it comes to the daily action steps, what I'm going to say, instead of making a resolution, what would it be like if we took baby steps? Literal, well, no, we're not babies, but like, you know what I mean? Like actual baby steps with how we care for ourselves, baby steps with how we show up for ourselves, baby steps with how we support ourselves to be healthier and more aligned and more alive and more soul connected, right? So baby steps instead of giant resolutions. And actually the other day I was reading a Martha Beck. I think she was the one who said, if you're overwhelmed by a baby step, you have to break the baby step into baby steps, right? So there's something about, at this time of the year, or whenever you're watching this, starting anew, and again, writing these grand gestures, writing the grand dreams and visions for yourself, right? And then really intuitively listening into what are the actual actions you want to take that will feel good, feel loving, feel supportive, and that you can break it down into basically the smallest step you can imagine for a short period of time. And then you do it and you see how it feels, and then you can continue. So an example is, as you know, living up in Maine, and I work from home. We have a very cozy living room, which is where I'm filming today. And I go from the living room up to my office. I've never had my own office. Like, I go up to my office, I come back down all day, right? And all of a sudden I go by like 3 days, 4 days, and I realize, I'm feeling a little off. I wonder why. Because I haven't been outside in 4 days, like 4 days. And so I was just kind of watching myself. The immediate thing is to beat myself up or be like, oh my gosh, you're such a lazy, this, all the things. But then I was like, again, practicing this observation and this self-compassion and self-kindness and love. And it's like, wow, it is not a guarantee that I will just get outside every day. So for the last 10 days, I said, okay, for just 10 days, because I know it will support me physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, I'm going to get outside for 10 days, but it's only 5 minutes or more, right? So on that one day when it was frigid and I was in between clients, I didn't have a lot of time, I hadn't had lunch, right? I was like, okay, 5 minutes, right? It gives you that extra loving incentive, that nudge, that push to do the behavior, right? That like my body, my mind, my soul so wanted, but it just wasn't happening, right? So for the last 10 days, I went outside for, I think the shortest ended up being 12 minutes and the longest was over an hour. But there was something about breaking it down into, again, 5 minutes. And then there was something about 10 days felt like a stretch for me, but I wasn't saying for the rest of my life I would go outside every day, which is what that's the emphasis or the feeling for me around resolutions. So baby steps, my love. And as we go into this new year, as you go into your new year, whenever you're watching this, what intuitive baby steps do you want to take? And I want to say just pick one, because the coolest thing that happens is that we break it down so we're not overwhelmed. There's a softening into these steps and these actions and these experiences for ourselves. We get to, with them, hopefully support ourselves on multiple layers. But what happens when we start to do these baby steps is all of a sudden baby steps lead to these quantum leaps. Right? There's a moment, there's a day where the baby stepping all of a sudden, like, again, we all can walk now, right? Like there was a moment when all of a sudden we could walk and then we could run. And that, like, so the baby steps for the sake of giving yourself that gift of that moment of care, that moment of action, or that moment of surrender, whatever your baby step is. But then all of a sudden we start to get used to them. And then we have almost these quantum leaps of how we feel or how we evolve or how we transform, or how we just get to be more of who we actually are. So I wish you baby steps this month, really beautiful baby steps. I'd love to hear from you as we go into this new year. Do you want to take some baby steps, right? Do you want to take some self-care, self-love, self-compassion, soul-connecting baby steps, and in particular, just one? And I'd love to hear from you. You can post below this video. You can always email me at elizabeth@elizabethjohnson.net and just tell me your one. What is your commitment, your intuitive commitment to a baby step that is just for you right where you are right now, that probably is going to lead to some quantum leaps. I'd love to stay connected. You can always head on over to elizabethjohnson.net and sign up for the free newsletter. You can subscribe here. I love it and appreciate it when you share this forward. If you get that little hit that, oh, my friend would really enjoy this. My aunt would really, maybe she could get something out of it. My colleague, right? So just, I love it when you authentically share this as you wish and as you feel is right for you. And so as we enter this new year, I wish you love, I wish you compassion for yourself. I wish you those sparks of inspiration and energy. And then again, just real respect for everything that comes up, right, in our human experience, everything that we're learning, everything that we're committing to. And instead of the all or nothing, let's find this beautiful middle ground, middle lane, right, that has a lot of flexibility, fluidity, and a lot of listening to it. In that space, I believe we can have a lot of fun and feel really good. So happy New Year, and I'll talk to you soon. So much love. Bye.